19 minutes after 6 o'clock on this Monday morning. It's 24 degrees Celsius here in the capital city of Kingston. 22 degrees Celsius out west in Montego Bay.
Yay!
And guess what? We're glad that you're rising with us. And you know who else is rising? Lazarus! Come forth. Morning, Jordan.
He's holding the fort this morning.
Yeah, he's holding the fort.
Rising is right because, you know,
I know.
it takes some getting used to.
I like when the people come on the show and they see what we go through every day.
It's a new level of respect for all of you, right?
Thank
new
you,
level
Thank
of
you,
respect.
All right.
Because, you know, as we're saying, sometimes, you know, Jordan, people see what we do or see what some people do and think, oh, it's easy. I can do that until you have to do it.
Oh, yes.
And do it consistently. Because it's one thing to do it one off, you know. But yeah, Mr. Jordan, I read the news and, oh, I can't do that. Oh, really? So when you see him looking all, you know, sartorially dressed, dapper looking on TV, he had to put in a lot of work behind the scenes.
All work. So what you got for us this morning?
Yeah, some headlines for you. Guess what? I'm starting on a note that maybe a lot of people don't want to hear. Water restrictions to begin today. The National Water Commission, NWC, has announced that water supply regulations will take effect for sections of Kingston and St. Andrew. KSA, of course, starting today. Monday, July 21, 2025 for the Mona and Hope networks. And on Wednesday, July 23 for the Constant Spring network. The move comes as the island faces persistent drought conditions, which have led to significantly reduced inflows to major water storage facilities. As of July 18, 2025, storage levels at the Mona Reservoir dropped to 46.3%, while the Hermitage Dam stands at 58.3%, prompting stricter water management measures. Despite months of careful monitoring and proactive management to maintain consistent service, the NWC says the declining water levels have made these restrictions unavoidable. The current measures are expected to remain in place until the rainy season, anticipated by September or October, restores normal inflows.
All right.
Same old story.
Yeah. So if you get our tanks, you know, if you don't have them.
If you don't have a water tank,
you need to look into one of those. Remember Rhino was here the other day?
It's a big investment as well.
But I mean, systemically though, I mean, this happens year after year after year.
It's like, when does it stop?
I mean,
when do we start looking at?
There's a challenge of drought, and then there's heavy rain periods, and I don't know that we make enough of the heavy rain periods, but you know, we're hearing talk of, you know, future like dams being built, etc., reservoirs, etc. But the challenge now is that many people who don't have catchment systems that they can harvest water are now going to be in a significant bind. It's a summer months, and so in some areas they're saying, okay, what we're going to do is have the lock-offs in the day when people are expected to be at work. But then there are others where it's going to be in the night. So I would hope that those people take note. And I mean, yes, there are some reference made to, you know, the upper Constant Spring area or lower this or that, but I want people to get very granular and know my lock-offs are going to be 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
So catch water.
So you catch up your water from before. You do everything that you need to do so that in the evening when water gone, you're functional. It's like use the information. That's why we're telling you, you know, use the information so that the quality of life during this period doesn't grind to a halt. So just note the communities where you're living and take stock of when the lock-offs will begin, and then, you know, you take advice from there. Hopefully we get a good shower of rain.
We got some rain over the weekend on Saturday, didn't we?
Yeah, but
it was intermittent.
Intermittent?
That's not near enough.
Wait, what we need, because the dam levels.
If you're at 40%, but also.
But I do understand what Jordan is saying in terms of we need some long-term measures. You understand?
That's it.
Because all right, the summer is not a surprise. It's not like someone said, surprise. Like we know that these months are drier. So when it is that we have the rain, we need to harvest it properly, channel it properly, siphon the water properly, so that when this time comes around, we're not behind the 8 ball as usual.
Yeah. But also, let's spare a thought for the fact of climate change and the fact of weather patterns changing from what they used to be, because we are in the hurricane season. It began June 1 and it's not ending until October.
November.
Right. So bear in mind that we could have heavy rains at any point during this period. It's not supposed to be a dry period. But we exist due to climate change in periods of greater extremes. So the dry periods are drier and the wet periods are wetter.
Yeah, but that's still not a surprise because we know climate change. So climate don't just change overnight, it's a period over years. So we know that climate change is here. So what are we doing about it? So it's about being proactive and not reactive.
Right.
So, and I like when I know, say, okay, things are going with the weather, it's here, scare it's arbitrary, it's not as it used to be, but we still can make better use of it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah. And Dennis, I'm particularly interested to hear you on this next one. The JUTC resumed service on suspended routes after stoning attacks. The Jamaica Urban Transit Company, JUTC, has resumed full operations on routes 30, 32 and 47, only hours after announcing a suspension of those services due to repeated stoning attacks along Washington Boulevard in the corporate area. The suspension was disclosed on Friday, July 18, 2025, in a statement posted on X, formerly Twitter. By Saturday morning, July 19, the company confirmed that all 3 routes were back in service. The company did not provide details on what prompted the rapid reversal, but noted that it continues to work closely with law enforcement amid ongoing security threats. Now, Police Commissioner Dr. Kevin Blake, he was condemning the incidents as deliberate and dangerous acts that put the public at risk, stressing that the buses are public assets owned by the people of Jamaica and that attempts to undermine their operation amount to an attack on citizens. Both the JCF and the JUTC are urging citizens to help protect the national transport system. Report stone throwing, vandalism, or suspicious behavior immediately. Call 119 or report anonymously to Crime Stop at 311.
This issue of stone throwing at buses is of particular concern to me on a personal level. No, my mother doesn't drive, and my mother does not take like taxis and robot. She don't believe in it. She must take the public transportation system, but also she don't like the whole heap of loud music and she don't like the cursing and stuff like that. So she will wait on our JUTC. She will say, drop me off at the transport center so I can catch the 21 or the whatever the numbers are, People don't appreciate when you're stoning buses. I remember a few years ago, citizens being injured in the bus. I look at the image a while ago. This is straight in the driver face. Why are you doing this? I mean, regardless of, I don't know what your motivation is, and I'm not going to speculate about whether or not if it's political or non-political or just people being rude and
unruly and lawless.
I'm not going to speculate as the motivation, but what I'm going to say is when you, like in some areas, you are coming from a particular community, you are stoning the bus that serves that community. There are senior citizens who need to take the bus. There are working people who rely on the public transport system. Like, you're taking buses off the route. That serve
so you're crippling
the
your
community.
own self.
It is just
self-sabotage. Make it make sense.
And the thing that frustrates me is that these are costs that you're going to... A bus windscreen expensive. My windscreen expensive. But a bus windscreen is exponentially more expensive. And to have to be replacing them over and over and over again,
But this is where now for me, Dennis, this is where consequences come in, or Jordan, you understand? So I don't know if these buses need to be retrofitted with cameras so that you can catch these perpetrators, so that you know that when you do these things and commit these dastardly acts, no matter where you go, no matter where you are, we're going to find you and you are going to pay the consequences. Because listen, the laws are on the books, the things are there, the police is there. But guess what happened? It's the enforcement and making an example out of them, because they think that they do these things and they just run off into nearby bushes and nobody ever sees them. And also for the citizens who see and know these perpetrators,
you hear them talk about,
report them. It is, but
then we also have to consider, are the laws really on the books? Because I mean, what law is that? Destruction of public property.
Yes.
But I mean, how strong is that law because
when we lock you, people find out. Don't worry yourself. Just
no, what I'm saying is maybe you need something specifically for this particular offense, that this is a relatively new mischief that you're trying to remedy.
Well, guess what? We're going to rectify the problem if it's not rectified. And I'm quite sure that the law is there. It's just for us to sift it out and see what the penalties are. But my thing is, Jordan, they have to pay the price for this.
By the way, do people realize, you know, you guys' particular interest in this? You're talking about the law and the law enforcement. And that's being made.
We're just here as two broadcasters.
Very good insight we're getting here.
Yeah, I am telling you. And you see, Jordan, you see, as citizens, we have to stop condoning and covering certain things, because at the end of the day, we are the ones that are suffering as a result. And when you have those among us who are sabotaging us, sabotaging our progress and our safety, it must not be tolerated. And the truth be told, there are more law-abiding citizens out there than those criminal-minded ones. You understand? And those need to just be moved out so that we can get on with the business of life.
But I love the word that you began with. Consequences.
Yes.
In life, there needs to be consequences. So whatever the laws are, whatever punishments are, there needs to be consequences for behavior, so that people feel those consequences and that acts as a deterrent. You know, because you can enforce until you're blue in the face. If there's no consequences, people will do it again and again. All right, that's it for your morning headlines.
Thanks, Jordan.
Carlton is going to be up next with Money Masterclass, which is brought to you by Guardian Life. Stay with us.